I'm here in 0704 looping walk cycle. Currently, I have my work area down in the timeline set, so when I preview, it's automatically looping this walk cycle. But I want to make this walk cycle an actual continuous loop, so I can animate this character within a scene. There are many ways to achieve this, but because I also feel I might want to move my character across the screen in the animation, I'm going to pre-compose all the layers of this character rig into a single composition, and then I'll use Duik's time remap function located in the automation toolbox to do it. First things first, I'm going to just press the spacebar to pause playback. I'll then unclick my little shy guy here so I can see all of my layers. I'm going to close off anything where I have animation on, because I'm not too worried about seeing that anymore. And I'm going to unlock any layers that are part of this character rig. So I need to unlock all of the bones. I need to unlock all of the artwork layers. And I need to lock off any 0 layers at the bottom that are part of this character rig. So when I pre-compose it, everything will be contained there, link up, and all the expressions will work just fine. And here we are, 0 layers, and that looks good. I'm going to leave my text layer that's up here locked off. I'm going to leave my background color locked off, and I'm going to leave my texture that I'm using locked off as well. So now I can go ahead and just turn off the eyeball and unlock this reference layer so it's all together, but I'm not going to use that much anymore. So I'll hit Command A to select everything. I will then just right-click on my layers and select Pre-Compose. I'm going to rename this pre-comp Blue Warble _ walk cycle _ pre-comp, just so I know it's labeled as a pre-comp. Make sure Move All Attributes to New Composition is selected, and then I'll hit OK. Now I have my Blue Warble walk cycle pre-comp here. I'm going to go ahead and open up my assets, and in my pre-comps, I can just put that in there for safekeeping, and then I'll close off my assets folder. So now I have my little Blue Warble walking as one single layer. One thing to be aware of, though, is if you're using Puppet Pins, which is a distort tool, you do not want to click the continuous rasterize button on anything you've pre-composed. Let me go ahead and quickly show you if I change the position value. So my Blue Warble is walking across the screen a little bit, and we preview. It looks pretty good there, but if I turn on the continuous rasterize button, oh yeah, it totally breaks everything. And that is because it's changing the render order, so it's rendering out this motion and the effect differently. So leave that continuous rasterize button off. All right, I'm going to just delete these keyframes, so we're back to it just being centered, and now we're going to worry about looping this. To loop this, we're just going to select this layer. We'll go over to the Duik automation tools up here, which looks like this little bar here, and we're going to go down to the time remap tools. Make sure you have your Blue Warble walk cycle pre-composed and selected, and click Time Remap. It gives us this option for loop. Let's click on that, and loop out. We want to make sure it's set to loop out, and we can just click Time Remap. What this does is automatically adds a time remap keyframe and a expression for looping to it, the loop out expression. Now, of course, we stop right here at 1:08, 1 second and 8 frames. So this is where we want our loop point to happen. So right here, I'm just going to hover over that spot at 1 second and 8 frames, and I'll click on the little icon here to create a new keyframe. Now I can just drag and delete these other 2 keyframes that are at the end here, delete them, and the loop out expression, we'll just let it loop and loop and loop that walk cycle. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to the beginning of my timeline. I'm going to hit P for position. Let me hit P again. There we go. I'll add a position keyframe, and I'll go ahead and move my character off to the left here. I'll move to the end of my timeline, and I'll move my character off to the right here to make another position keyframe. Then I'll hit spacebar to preview, and there he goes. Now, here's the thing happening. He's moving a little faster than he's walking, so it looks like he's getting a little bit of drift. What's nice about this expression that was added for the loop out with time remap, I can speed up or slow down this walk cycle. I'm just going to hit the U key so I see all of my keyframes, And this time remap keyframe right here, I'm just going to click and drag it in so that walk cycle happens even faster. Let's preview. Oh yeah, he's bouncy and going for it, and he has attitude and is ready to rock. Now that might be a little bit too fast, so I can just pull that back a few frames. Hit the spacebar to preview. And that is a good looking walk cycle. Sometimes adding background elements, moving in the opposite direction, or just having your character centered and moving the background on its own is a great way to smooth out animation. That hides some of the drift you might notice around the feet as a character walks, but that's all part of an individual animator's choices for scene, aesthetic, and animation style. Regardless, as long as you incorporate those walk cycle poses and fine-tune the timing a little bit, you'll end up with a pretty passable, good-looking walk cycle loop.